Hello. Uh, hmm. Okay. Uh, my name is Ryan. Uh, and I've decided I'm gonna start keeping my journal diary-ness in videos. Uh, because I can. And for random people who come across this on YouTube, I don't care if you like it. It has nothing to do with you. I'm putting it there just because I need to have it. Uh, so please, no stupid, rude comments. If you don't want to hear me just talk about whatever, then don't watch. It's as simple as that. You don't have to be a dick about it. I watch YouTube a lot. I know that people do this shit. Anyway, so aside from YouTube viewers, hopefully people I care about will see these. You know, I'll leave links around so people can find them and watch these videos. And maybe we'll give a crap about it. And just remember, these are like journal entries, so if you don't like something you hear, I'm sure there's something annoying about me in your journals too. Uh, so, I'm not gonna explain myself to the random people who don't know me and try to introduce myself. If you're watching this and I actually give a crap about you, you'll know me enough. Uh, if some random person finds it on YouTube and decides to watch, that'd be kind of cool. I don't expect it, but who knows? Anyway, if you can hear the music that's playing, I don't have any idea if you can on my iPod here. Okay, is it? Yeah. It's a band called Crash Test Dummies. I only have the one song. It's called, I don't know how it's technically pronounced, but it's Here's the main thing. It's like so, yeah. You know, I tried doing these journal entries once before, and the very first one was like this. I was all awkward and had no idea what to say. And by the end of it, I got a little comfortable. And then the next ones were not 20 minutes of me pretending I had some idea what to talk about. So, where to begin? It's July 2nd. July 2nd. 2014. So, I'm 23. Yay. I'm currently dating a girl named Jessica, who I'm hoping to marry someday. Hoping. So, if I do, then if you're my family or friends or whoever, you know who I'm talking about. And if I don't, then I don't know, maybe she'll have come up in stories at some point. I am in my basement in Ashburnham. Uh, no idea how long I'll live here to the point where someone sees these, because I'm not going to start showing people my journal entries from the day before. That will be a stupid idea. Because you never know who's going to get irritated about it and what personal information you don't want them to know. So, down the road, people I care about will hopefully see these and will be sick of it by now anyway. So, life in general right now, I'm looking for work. I'm working a little bit on the side with a woman from church cleaning post offices. It makes 130 a week. It's not a lot of hours, so at least I'm making some money for not a huge amount of commitment. But I'm looking to start my career off in accounting because I've only got one semester left of school to go and it's only 2 classes. I already have my associates, so well, the job market is crap right now. It's very hard. Uh, and I have very little experience. I only had one internship for 6 months. That's all I had. So that's that. I'm currently driving the Ford Explorer. The Lincoln died about 2 months before this video. 3 months after the air suspension gave out. But I'm getting a connection with the new car. I'm the kind of person who connects with vehicles. I feel like they have a personality and something you can tap into. So they're coming closer with that. Um, hmm, yeah. So I'm gonna be titling this YouTube channel CBL Journals because I'm a member currently, hopefully in the future, of member and leader, I guess, of a rap group, very much in quotations, called Convincing Lies, or CBL for short, as my friend Matt Brown pointed out, who is the co-founder of the group. Uh, we try to lay our foundations in rap. I did a solo album that was about 20% good, and the rest was crap. Uh, we did a bunch of basemental things, which is basically just us messing around, recordings, improvised crap. Some of it's pretty good. With Captain Chris Salvi, who hopefully I'm still friends with, and Matt Skits Brown, who also I'm hopefully still friends with, and who has not been killed by some drug lord on the side of the road or something. God, that's gonna sound stupid later. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make portions of the video about the progress with that, and the main purpose of these videos is going to be sort of a therapy for me to try to recognize what I'm doing as far as the music, because we've been doing this for like 7 years and we've got almost nothing to show for it. We've got a teeny little bit, which is probably more than like 30% of the bands out there that form and then do nothing. So yeah, we're not nothing. We're just not committed. I'm the only one who's committed at all, and I'm not all that good with it. Matt is committed, sort of like spiritually with it, but he's not willing to actually work with it. You know, he doesn't put in the effort. When he does, it's very unstructured, very unstructured. But you know, working on that. I'm the primary writer in the group. I come up with a lot of the beats, which is generally just ripped off from other people. So that's going to be the main exercise of these. Is I'm going to try to make sure I mention that in every video, and then I'm just going to have other videos on here of just like things that cross my mind randomly. They're not always going to be in the basement. For all I know, this is the only one that will ever be in the basement, which is unlikely, because the main reason I'm here is because up there is my parents asleep. And it's only 10 o'clock at night, which for me isn't all that late, but they get up at like 5 in the morning. So, can't blame them. So I don't want to have them overhearing everything I'm saying. The table right now that we're using is a pool table, a miniature pool table, small pool table, but pool table. Big ball. So I have things to fiddle with because I'm a fiddler. I don't play the fiddle, but I fiddle with things. I can't help it. I have to. God, I'm nervous making this stupid video, and I'm making it to myself, and I'm probably the only one who's ever going to see the damn thing. But I'm nervous about it anyway, because there's the off chance that someone might see it, be it a stranger or someone I care about. Let it be noted, I was an idiot when I made these videos. I'm just now coming back into different frames of mind. I'm currently at a period of my life where I'm still suffering from depression and trying to come over it. Just, I guess, for in case I look at this in the future, I'm not in a depressive state. I am in general now. I'm not like always crying in tears or anything like that, but I'm just, you know, if you know anything about clinical depression, or even if you don't, look it up. I am depressed. I suffer from real depression. If I sat here and explained it, it would be as if this video was about that. I'm not going to do that. What is with, I do my hand movements so dainty and retarded, and like, ooh, I don't control myself well. 10 minutes already. So, CBL as of right now is that I've got the solo album and we've got the basemental stuff, which is kind of cool, but no one other than us will want to listen to it, and even basically anyone but me doesn't really want to listen to it. I enjoy it, and I think Captain does a teeny bit, and Matt does a teeny bit. But other than that, I've been wanting to involve my sister in the group, but not only are we never home at the same time, but I never can structure a group activity. I cannot do it because I just don't do it. I know it's in me. I just don't do it. I get so frustrated with myself. I don't know. It's if some random person comes across this on YouTube and decides to leave a comment, please, I'm asking you, if you've watched this far, do you have advice for getting yourself to do things that you just don't do? Even if you want to do it, you just don't do it because you procrastinate the shit out of it and then just bail out of it like it doesn't matter. Because I do that, and it's a real pain. It's really taking away from opportunities in my life. Because it's the summertime now, so I don't have classes. I'm barely working. You know, I'm trying to work harder, but that's all I have. So I should be being productive. And instead, I'm in my basement making stupid videos like this. That's what I'm doing. It's not the full potential of what I could be doing. I could be recording sometimes. I could be recording in the car, even. You know, I could be saying, okay, well, this song we're putting these lyrics, I should give it a call to my sister. And then when me and her see each other, say, hey, next Tuesday, be home. I got this little part I want you to record. Sit with her and say, this is what I want you to do. Ha, 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 ha. Then have her do, and then imitate whatever the hell it is that I wanted to do for it. And then I have it there. That's how you do it. That's how you involve other people. But I don't do it. And I don't know why. Same thing with Captain. I've had a song I wanted to do with him as a duet for over a year, and we don't get together and do it. Part of it is because I don't think he'll take it seriously, but part of it is because I don't take it seriously. I don't take my own passion seriously because I'm an idiot. I am. It's a dumb thing. A lesson I'm going to give to my kids is like, you develop a passion about something, you maintain that passion, you know. Don't just be like, yeah, man, I love recording movies. Too bad I don't actually do it. Go record them. Get a camera real cheap and just make them and edit them around. They don't have to be Hollywood worthy, you know? And that's how I am. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be able to make some of a record good enough that someone would want to buy it or listen to it in their own free time, so why should I do it? And that's what kills me. That's what keeps me from doing it. It's bullshit. To be honest with you, to use more profanity. By the way, I try to stay away from using profanity because for religious reasons and just because it's rude. Okay, fine. Maybe mainly because other people tell me not to. I don't care. But other people tell me not to, so I'm working on the swearing, because I used to swear a lot, so I'm working on it. You know, to be honest with you, I could sit here for like 4 hours and talk to this stupid camera. And by the end of it, I'd be on something completely different, and maybe just making stupid faces at myself in the camera. But yeah, I need to stop myself, because even if, you know, I marry Jess in 5 years down the road, say, hey, look at these videos, she will have stopped watching probably about a minute and a half ago. Any rational person would, even if they love me. So the idea of someone watching this for 45 minutes is unlikely. And I know there'll be a 45-minute video up there later. There will be. Probably 3 days. So that's the band situation. I've got a couple of other songs recorded. They're all just solo, though. And one by Matt, which kind of is crappy. And that's it. It's all solo stuff. And I don't like doing all solo stuff. I like to have a solo song here and there. But I want to at least get other people in the background, other people to do one verse. But I have trouble saying, okay, well, here's a beat. Write your verse from here to here for these minutes. Matt, I know I can't get to do that. Matt can't do that. You know? He can't, because he won't do it. Captain, I feel like I could, but he often just does what he wants it to be. Not that it's a bad thing, but I'm saying, like, you know, here's the lyrics I have now. I want you to fill this in as if you were, you know, like in the song, I'm the main character and you're Stan, his best friend, and here's what I have written out. So write Stan's response, how you think it would go with this beat, and then he'll go completely off the wall. The thing could be like me accusing Stan of drinking too much, and he'll end up managing to turn it into a story about how like Stan is part of the CIA or something like that. You know, he's a creative guy, but he tends to just do what he wants to do, which again is not a bad thing. It just, if I want something structured and envisioned in a certain way and he goes a different way, it creates conflict. So I don't know. I'm a puss with this stuff. I really am. I'm too worried about things going wrong that I want to actually do them. Matt, things will go wrong with. We've learned that with Matt, you have to write a part and make it a short part and have him just do it now and just accept it however he does it, because he's not going to get much better. You're only going to be able to structure him to a certain point. My sister, on the other hand, I don't know. I haven't worked hard with my sister. We worked a little bit on one song, and it actually came out semi-decent, but it was more just fooling around than actual working on something we wanted to come out production ready. So another issue is that almost all the recording takes place in basements because it's one of the only places we can record. There's a recording place up at the college, but the college isn't open for another 2 months. So I was thinking about, we have these large sheets of plywood, very large, which irritatingly enough need to be cut about a foot shorter to be able to be stood from the floor to the ceiling. And I've been trying to find, I got advice from a guy on YouTube, ironically, who's worked in the profession, who points out that you can always add effect, but you can't really take effect out if you record it in. So he said, well, build yourself a small little room in the basement then, or just pad a couple of walls with the eggshell foam, and it will totally eliminate reverb, which you can then add in later. So I gotta get some foam, cut those down to the right size, and then nail them up. It shouldn't be all that hard to sort of just build up little props on the back to let them stand upwards. The main issue is getting the foam and then stapling it on, and then finding out how exactly I'm going to set myself up down here, because I'm going to need a table like this, but I can't use the pool table. Too much room for echo. I was thinking of doing it in the corner and setting up just 2 walls around me. That way I only have to build 2 walls. And in a little room that small, the eggshell foam won't even be all that important anyway. You know? So there's that, I guess. But I don't know. So that's that. So working on creating a better set for where I make the recordings. Another issue is that if I want to go see the guys that work on recordings, or if I want to go down to the college and record, I need to drive to Fitchburg, which is about 10 miles. I make zip for money and I drive an SUV. See where this is going? The gas eats itself up constantly. And Jess wants to see me a lot. And, you know, I don't always have the time to do these things, or the gas to get to a place to record, or the energy. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm not recording today. I don't have the passion for it. And, you know, not to mention Alyssa, my sister, who I really want to get in on it because I need some female voice, doesn't like Matt or Captain. So that's an issue. She doesn't want to go record with them. So I need to get, you know, if I'm going to have Captain do some guitar, I need to have him do the guitar and record that. Call it a day. Come back here, and on a different day, have Alyssa record her set. It's a bit much, you know? Like when I did my solo album, the grand total of time spent recording for the, I think, 14 tracks, the grand total of time I spent recording those 14 tracks, and even, well, yeah, just recording, because you can't really count time for coming up with the beats and for writing them, because every song is going to be different on that. But the grand total for recording those 14 songs is probably about 28 hours, probably like 2 hours a piece. But I'm gonna go put a bunch of effort into recording his guitar, and then a bunch of effort into recording her voice separately. And then if she says, well, wait, the guitar skips here, I can't do that, we're gonna have to change this. well, then we don't record hers, and we gotta go back to recording his fucking guitar. And ugh. And Brady, or Guy B, he wants to do drumming for us, and he's a decent drummer. He's not the greatest. Sometimes he doesn't quite understand the directions I'm going for, and I drum on a just slightly lower level than him. So that brings up a few issues. Is that like, well, sometimes he doesn't always hear the vision that I'm trying to go for, which creates an issue because I don't want to make him feel like an idiot because he's not. But then we're like, great, Then he has to come over here because his drums have fallen apart, so he needs to use mine, and we often can't meet. And then it's a matter of recording drums. They don't like to be recorded at all. Not on a small microphone, anyway, because I'm not using even remotely professional stuff. I'm using a $60 microphone and a laptop with software. While that's not bad for voice or even guitar, it's terrible for the drums. You have to find just the right location in the room, and we have to hit just the right volume levels. And we probably should pad the room a little bit more. I should probably buy like a roll of that eggshell foam. I should buy like 5 miles of that foam and pad this room in it whenever I'm going to try to record. And I take it all down in my parents' room, knowing that it's there because it's their house. I don't know. Honestly, I'd like to build a small room down here, and I know I could do it. I can move everything away, and I could probably do it. I could do it in the fuse box. That doesn't really need to be open. It just needs to be accessible. So this little area over here where the pool table is, I could build a little room here. It can be done. It's not all that hard because it doesn't need to be like structurally sound or anything. It just needs to stand of its own. That's all. It doesn't need to be amazing. And that would be a great place to put the drums and to do vocals. And I could easily just get a little table for putting this on if I want to record the vocals. It's not a bad idea. We have all that extra plywood we're using for nothing. We get some long, not 2x4s, 2x8s, or whatever the hell you want to call them, large strips of, usable carpentry type wood. It's all just sitting here, and it really is just sitting here. We've used it in the occasional little project, but it's not really getting used up. There's no worry about that, and if it's gone, we can just get more. We didn't pay for it. We got it all for free from where my dad used to work. So I could use that to build a little room down here. I just don't know if they'd approve of that. I can also make it so that it comes apart. I could, I could make the walls so that, so they're just individual panels, and then I can just put them all in one little place after. But while that would not only be a pain in the ass, I'm not entirely sure how I'd make it work. Because you need something on the back to make it stand. Well, over here, and actually we can see it in the thing. See this beam that runs right here? That comes down and around. I could just lean them up against that for that side. And then we have 2 balls, one over there and one over there. And then it's just this strip directly above me, which I could just put 3 of those. Maybe 2, probably just 2 of those plywood things, and just put feet on the back of those, put legs on the back of those 2, and then those 2 could be put next to each other up on the wall, up in front of the ones that are just leaning against the wall. Wouldn't be a bad idea, to be honest with you. In fact, I want to try that, because that's not even semi-permanent. That's bullshit, really. Man, that's someone would look at that and say, "What the hell's wrong with you? Why you waste your time setting this up?" And all I do will greatly kill reverb if I put the foam on them. If I don't put the foam on them, it'll kill the reverb. Because the ceiling being that slatted basement ceiling, that on its own kills a lot of reverb. The main issue is that we're in a big concrete room with a concrete floor, and there's not a whole lot of stuff that really absorb the sound. Everything down here is metal. Or plastic, but even plastic. So there's a lot of a little reverb. You can really hear it with the drums. You really can hear it with the drums, which is an issue. And another issue with recording the drums, I guess, is that if the microphone is too close, you just max out the recording levels. You know, it's not a matter of it being able to hear it or understand it or deal with reverberation as much as it will just spike with every single thing. Like if you do a drum roll, it's just this big wide thing, and it builds on top of itself, and it just distorts itself to the point where it can't handle it. And that's a big issue. And I think that's one other thing that would help if I built a room. If I put the microphone just on the other side of the wood, it'll probably deal with it better, especially if I cancel the reverb with the eggshell foam. So I'm going to have to get on that. I really am. I'm going to have to get myself working on that and cut a couple of the boards. I cut one not that long ago to hang up a dartboard on, and cutting it by hand with the saw we have is horrible. But we do have, what did we got over there? We have a little table saw that if I could just get my mom to help, we don't need to cut 1, 2, 3, 6, maybe boards. Oh, I wouldn't even need to use feet because the slat's in the ceiling. I just make it tall enough that it goes between the slats and the ceiling. Oh. I might not even need to cut the ones on this side. That's interesting. Let me get a lot easier. The only possible issue is the fact that this light is here, so the wall would have to start here and then come over there. And that's because there's a fluorescent light hanging above us. Big, long, full on, like the ones in the back. So we can't move that. So it has to start at the end of that, and that leaves us 10 feet to the wall. And from this beam to that wall is another 10, 12 feet. So that's not the smallest of rooms. That's bigger than the recording rooms at the school. So as far as canceling out reverb and catching sound, no. Basically, it won't do it. To the point I want. Anyway, it'll help, I think. But it won't do a lot, I don't think. Not with that distance. I don't know. I can always find out. The only real cost is going to be the eggshell foam. The time involved will be half an hour to cut the couple that I need to cut, and then just to prop everything up. The eggshell foam, I can't find it. It's not at Home Depot. It's not at Sears. It's not at it's nowhere. I can't find it at a store. I'm gonna have to look online and order that shit. It's ridiculous. How do you not have eggshell foam? And I've been to a couple of Home Depots, literally just separate ones, on total opposite ends of the state, and neither of them had fucking eggshell foam. And just, it's crazy. How do you not have something like that? It's such a common thing. It's not like I'm saying, hey, I need foam that has little rubber ducks sticking out of it. I want eggshell foam. Every kid has seen it at some point in their life. Everyone has found a roll of it somewhere just for no apparent reason. And people use it in packing and everything. So I don't know why I can't find it. I'm going to have to look online and find out who has it. I don't think Job Lots had it either. Walmart didn't have it. I can always don't like bubble wrap. And I don't know how expensive it's going to be. Is like a square yard going to be $1? Because in that case, it's going to cost me probably like $10 to $20. Or is it going to be more than that? I don't know. I don't know how much it costs. Or do you just buy this large, a yard thick and 20 feet long roll of it for $10? How does it work? I don't know. I don't know how it's measured. So I gotta get that. I really gotta get that and try to do that, because then it should open up a door for recording here. And I might even feel safer recording, because I don't like to record in my family's home. I might feel more able to do that if I have my own little room. But who knows? So, but that's that. That's really all there is to say about the group thing right now. I have come to the moniker that I plan to stay with of Sale for myself. No one really gets it. They're only able to relate it to the AWOL Nation song Sale, which is true. But it's very hard to explain the reasoning, and I will maybe do so in a later video. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I don't care. So there. I have a few songs that I've written that need recording. That either the beat isn't ready, or everything's ready, and I just don't want to record it because I'm not in the proper mindset, or I think, well, I don't like this song now. I need to completely rewrite it, or just completely throw it out. I don't like the song at all. I like the beat, but I don't like the song. So there's stuff on every level, but there is some stuff that's ready to record that should be recorded, and I don't do it for one of two reasons: either because I'm just not feeling the mood that I need to feel with that song for it to come out with real attitude and emotion, or I'm procrastinating out of laziness. And honestly, it's about a 50-50 split. But there's that too, which is preventing a lot. I feel like an idiot whenever anyone mentions, oh, I do my own music and this thing and that. I'm like, well, I play the drums on an extremely beginner level. I'm trying to learn the guitar very slightly. I'm very impatient with it. Like with the drums, I was a lot more patient, but the guitar, I'm not as patient with. Probably because I want to learn the fundamentals before I go through and learn the chords and stuff, but every part of me is screaming at me like, you're hurting your fingers for this one damn chords. I don't know. There are plenty of people who've only learned the chords, and that's it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll learn the chords first and then go back and learn the basics. Maybe. I don't know. Because I've never loved guitar, really. I really never loved guitar. But I kind of wanted to get one just to mess with, just to play around with. And my grandfather, my Pepe, says to me, oh, I got this guitar. You can have it as long as you promise to actually use it. And it's not just going to sit and gather dust. And also, I can't sell it or break it or anything like that. And it turns out it's one that he bought a kit and put together himself and personalized and picked out a trim. And he even made, I forget how he actually made himself one of the parts because he's a carpenter. And there's a lot of energy and effort gone into it. And, this is something he gave me. Holy crap. And it's really nice. It looks like a mandolin? Lute. It looks like a lute. Similar to, anyway, it's like an eyedrop style. It's an old school, colonial style type guitar. And it sounds just like a guitar. It sounds totally normal. It does have its own sound, of course. But, my friend Captain didn't really care for it. He didn't. He thought it was kind of stupid, I guess. I don't know. Matt thought it was kind of cool, but then went to the same thing. But he thinks anything that's not his own way is stupid anyway. I was a little disappointed with their reactions because I thought it was damn cool. This is a guitar, but it doesn't look like the same old, guitar that doesn't, the big thing and the little curve and then it comes up and there's the neck. It doesn't look like that. It looks very much of its own. The only real thing I don't like about it is it's got metal strings. And I have played Captain's guitar, which has the nylon strings. It's not that hard to put once when you know which ones, and once you can control your fingers to keep yourself from killing the string next to you, it's not all that hard to play a chord on it. Because pushing your fingers doesn't take all that much energy on it. And they don't cut into your fingers, but the metal wire ones are agonizing until you build up the calluses. I had them a little bit at one point, then I stopped playing, and now they're gone again, and it's so painful. And all I can focus on is the pain in the fingers, never mind the location of the fingers. It's so damn hard to do, and it's designed in a way, the fretboard is just designed in a way that it takes a lot of force to hold them down. You have to be good at a guitar already. You have to know what you're doing to play this guitar to begin with. And I've had a couple of people, my grandfather and Captain, both said, this is an advanced level guitar. It's not something that any idiot randomly can play. The strings take a lot of force. And they're set close together, and it's not an easy guitar, which just discourages me a bit from practicing, which is a total cop out thing, but it does. I'm sorry, I completely distracted from my initial where I was going with that. So like I very slightly am learning guitar, and I dabble in the drums. You know, I'm not totally inept at the drums, but I'm not even at an intermediate level. I could not play for a band. Uh, so what I mainly do is I listen to music and I jam out that way, or without, sometimes without. And I'll listen to a beat that I have and say, well, you know what, this needs drums. And I'll listen to it and I'll say, oh, you know, that kind of sound wouldn't be bad. And then I'll try to replicate it myself. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. 60-40, it works. So does that. I mean, I have drums from my side. I also have Brady to try to play the drums, but I never get the chance to see him because he's working or I'm working or people are here. So we can't really practice the drums much and things like that. And then when it comes to my voice, oh, I hate my voice. I still haven't really found control of my voice yet. I'm getting there. I'm growing. You know, I'm growing in my vocal skills. My alliteration, the crispness of the things that I say, where you can actually completely understand. You know, that type of stuff. Like, you know, you ever listen to a song where you sound like you got mumbled like this, you can't understand them. You can't understand it. I'm getting a little better with that, with alliteration and crispness. I'm getting better with the ability to switch up the flow a little bit, you know, so that it's not all like this all the way through, like this, everything, and not changing. You know, I'm getting it so that I change throughout a little bit better. I'm not going to do an example because I was not completely retarded and probably doing the same thing I just did. But you know, when you talk, even, you don't stay on one exact pattern. And I'm learning to do that in the songs. So I'm growing in that aspect. My lyricism, my ability to write the lyrics, I used to be amazing. I used to be really good. I impressed my friends. I impressed my family. I once impressed my English class. I was extremely nervous, so my performance actually really sucked, and I had no flow whatsoever. But they said, those are great lyrics, man. And this was a high school senior class. You know, so back in that day, to impress your class was something. And I reached the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm impressed with this. I can't believe I wrote this. That went away. I had a really depressive time in my life. My now ex-fiance and I basically she cheated on me, and that it crashed and burned for like a year, and it ended absolutely horribly. And then a bunch of other things in life went wrong. I got kind of sick, things like that. And that pushed me into a deep depression, and I was extremely depressed, and I did not write anything for a while, and the things I did write were just completely manic. Just totally not right. I had a couple of gems, actually, come out of that made it onto the solo album. But I wasn't writing. I had nothing, you know. Finally, I've come out of that to the point where I can function normal, you know, because I was totally out of it. I didn't function normal in life. It wasn't just the lyrics that I couldn't do anymore. So finally, I said, well, you know, you got to get back into music. And I started trying to write, and I had nothing. Nothing was there. No flow, no creativity. I'd repeat the same words over and over and over again. You know, what if this, what if this, what if this, and I don't know, and I don't know, and I don't know, and it's just the same repetitive crap. And that clearly wasn't working. So I started freestyling to the music on the radio alone in the car, trying to build my way out of this. Like, when you get stuck in a situation like that, work it out, move away, or just completely stop and start over. Because you gotta get moving on this. And I tried reading the encyclopedia, the dictionary to help, and that didn't help because none of that sunk in. I didn't actually learn anything. I just read it once and moved on. So I tried that, and I had such trouble getting to the point where I even use bigger than just children's words, you know. And I'm at a point where I'm using a bit of a variety of words. I'm able to come up with slight ideas, but I'm still having a lot of trouble writing. The original flow is gone. I feel like Hemingway. Hemingway was a genius, and he went through. Was it Hemingway? Genius went through electroshock therapy and came out completely unable to write. He'd lost it, and he said that was his biggest fear: is he'd go through this and then he wouldn't be able to write after. That's how I feel. Like writing was my outlet before, and then I went through depression, and now come out the other side, and I can't write anymore. And I've written some poems and some songs not all that long ago, and some of the poems are decent. One of the songs is okay, but they're not what they used to be. I listened to some of my slightly older stuff just earlier today, and thought to myself, that was good. It was. I mean, I feel foolish playing it because I think my voice sucked, and I just tend to think I suck in general, but it was good. It really, really, really was. And it wasn't all that long ago. I mean, some of it was even during the time of the Depression. And now, because I'm not all that passionate with things, my main worries are like, I need a better job, I don't have enough money. Me and my girlfriend fought today. I'm looking for to start a career. That's not song material. I don't have a massive amount of friends. I only have a few friends, and they don't really have anything go on. So, like, there was a time back when I was writing a lot where I had some online profiles on some websites when I was a teenager that talked to other teenagers, and there were some people with some interesting situations in life. And that would spark all sorts of different things. I'd be writing 5 songs a day, real decent songs, like 3-minute long songs. And now I'm lucky if I write one a week, and they usually kind of suck, and I don't even keep them anymore. I don't plan on recording, and I just say, well, I'll keep this just for the sake of keeping it, because I try to keep everything out right. And it's so hard. It's so hard because it was the only thing I was ever really good at, and now I'm not. What do I do? When I get really on something, I can write. But otherwise, no. Oh God, 42 minutes. If you're still watching this, I'm amazed. But this is what I do. So if you generally want to turn it off after a minute and a half into the video, I understand it. I don't care. Honestly, it's your choice. You're the one watching. Oh, it's going to be a long time to upload this, too. Oh, we'll see. I can have one great thing with YouTube is you can upload stuff while you watch something else in a different tab. So it's not that big a deal. Anywho, back to what I was talking about. Since I'm going to give up on making these about the viewer and just let it be for myself. That writing thing, man. Oh, it's awful. Oh, I've got a little thing on my iPod, writing through prompts. When it gives you little prompts once a day of ideas of things to write a poem about. And sometimes it's almost useless. It's like, well, try to write one in the style of your favorite poet, something you think he would write. I don't have a favorite poet. I have some favorite rappers, and I could not imitate their style for the life of me. I couldn't do it. I can't write something. I write how I write, and each song is of its own. I can't do that. I don't know how I do it. I don't know if every song is actually quite friggin' identical to the others, and I just didn't notice. I don't know. So I have that, and then sometimes it's good stuff. It'll be like, write about your greatest fear, write about, one of the happiest days of your childhood, things like that. Just, and some of them are things I wouldn't think about. One was like, write about your worst nightmare, figuratively or really. I never would have thought of that, writing down my worst nightmare, which I do have a song about what was actually the worst nightmare I've had. And then I also have like a song about my greatest fears, I had that already. But they're decent prompts. I just don't keep up with it because it's daily. I can't do several at a time. I have to wait till the next day, and by then I don't have time to sit and do it, or I don't have the motivation, or I'm doing something else. Well, that's not time to do it, but still. Um, or sometimes when it's like writing the style of your favorite poet, well, that's a skip it day, isn't it? I had an issue with a lot of my older stuff of writing about only depressing things, and then my solo album was literally purely for me to try to understand what was going on in my head, and was going to tell myself the tale of my depression and my little bits of insanity, my legitimate little bits of insanity and hallucination, and however I came out of it, and it did sort of. But that was also on the depressing side, but it was for a reason. It was, I said I got to write an album about this, and it sucked. But I had to think about writing a lot of depressing stuff, and when I tried to write something that ended happy, I would sort of fake it. It was easy to come up with creative bad endings. Easy to come up with creative unhappy situations and just bad parts of the world. That's easy to be creative with. As far as happy things, there seem to be very limited circumstances that result in a happy ending. Like a happy ending, someone's a drug addict, and at the end of it, he turns out to come over his addiction. Ta-da! He found God and came out of it, or his friends helped him out of it, or he went to a clinic and they helped him out of it, or he just got lucky, or he saw someone die as a result of it. But these things have all been done a million times. There's hundreds of songs about all these good endings. And it's because it's really, when you consider the fact that I just listed pretty much all of them, and that was like 4 endings. What if it ends bad? It could be anything. He could die. He could kill someone who he could end up in some kind of severe accident. It could just end in sort of a hallucinative phase where he floats off into the stars. It could just end in the exact same fucking way it opened. It could end in so many different ways. And that's me not even giving thought about it. And I have just as many ways as the good ways. But there's plenty more in the bad ways. Not to say that bad songs are better. That's bullshit. To say that negative songs are better than happy songs, that's a complete lie. It's like in Clerks, where Dante says he prefers Empire Strikes Back because it had a down ending. That's bullshit. The fact that something is happy or sad does not make it better than another. But one thing I have noticed from my perspective is that it's easier to be creative with negative things. Now, that is me personally. That might not be everybody. That might only be me. But in my perspective, for me, it is easier to write about negative things. And I don't try to be negative. I do my best to be happy. I'm a depressive. I need to try to think about happy. So... But the thing is, my natural state, unfortunately, is a sort of depressed, pessimistic person. So the sadder stuff comes out. And even in fiction, even the just completely made up just for the sake of making a song stuff, it tends to be sad stuff. I don't like it because, people have told me that shit gets old, To write a sad song or an unhappy song or a depressing song, that is fine. That's one thing. This is what they tell me. But to have a depressing album of songs, to have 200 depressing songs, no one wants to hear it after a while, especially your friends and family, that's gonna hear this for quite a long time, unless I put some severe effort into it. My mom doesn't want to hear about all the depressing songs I wrote. If I give her an album and 2 of the songs are kind of sad and depressing, 2 of them are just like random in the middle, and then 6 of them are happy, well, good. She might want to listen to that. Hearing me sing about a happy summer day, she's going to want to hear that. Hearing me sing about the cold, depressing winter, and walking down, a dark alley and wishing I was dead or something, she's not going to want to listen to that. There's not much. One song is one song. We all understand that people get sad, but no one's going to listen to an album of that. Now, that's what I've been told, and I totally agree. I've found artists who only write depressing shit. maybe Escape to Fate would count under that. I don't know, but I've heard albums who only write depressing stuff, or like Breaking Benjamin, who seem to only write intense stuff, just really hardcore stuff, and it's not so like it's not hardcore just because it's like punk rock or punk rock is never all hardcore, but it's not hardcore because of the way they play the instruments. It's hardcore because of the way they present it, and the lyrics and the vocals, and shit gets old. Sounding exactly the same all the time gets old. That's kind of why I like Blink-182. They were punk rock, but not every song sounded exactly the same. They had a general sound. If you were to play 5 songs, chances are 3 of them would sound similar to each other, but the other 2 were their own, even if they were from the same album. And that's what I like about, and that could just be my own perspective. Maybe that's not actually true to other people, but that's how I like it. Like, that's one of the reasons I don't like the newer Atmosphere albums, is because they all sound the same. They just sound a little different, but you can clearly tell they're on the same album. Because the music sounds very similar, and the flow of the lyrics sounds very similar, and the content sounds very similar, and the way that content is presented, and so on. That gets old. That's why I like some of the older Atmosphere albums, because it was a mix of different things. There'd be a song about, like, just having a good time, mixed with a song about him hating Lucy, mixed with a song about, his alcoholism, and then a song about touring with the band, and it was all different, and each one was completely its own song. So I need to try to do that, but I'm having trouble doing that because I'm limiting myself by not writing the depressing stuff. Because I'll say, well, no, don't write the song about the thought you just had about the boy who dies in a car crash. Write the song about the boy who's enjoying his drive. I'll try to force that out, and because I'm forcing it, it doesn't flow out. And I come naturally happy plenty of times. It happens. I'm a human being. If I was never naturally happy, I'd have killed myself by now. But it doesn't always create the writing passion, especially not full song writing passion. I may think, like, this is a great thing. I could write a 3-line poem about this, not a 20-line short song. And I've never been a person to want to do those songs where it's just like one big long repeating chorus and then a bunch of music breaks. I've never been the type of person to do that. When I write a song, you're going to see at least half a page of lyrics. And that's just how it is with me. I knew a guy was in a band who only really cared about the musical aspect of it, and he just wrote songs because there needed to be a subject, and he put menial effort into that, and it put all the effort into the sound of it, and that's fine. Some people do that, and I don't even mind listening to songs like that. Well, I don't mind listening to songs like that as long as they don't try to fill it with lyrics. If you try to fill it with lyrics but don't give a damn about the lyrics, people can tell, and it generally sounds horrible. But that's that. So I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to write different aspects: happy, sad, cheerful, excited, suspenseful, things like that, or just informative, maybe, I don't know. But, about me and about other people, and maybe about someone I know, maybe about fiction, who knows, I'm fairly decent at writing fiction, as long as I don't limit my feelings about whatever I'm writing. But wow. So this went from a journal entry to being more of a rant than any. Well, I mean, it's not so much a rant because I am talking about my life in particular and myself, and I'll be a bit less drony with things probably in the future because I'll have said it already. I'll have said all of this come the time I make the next video, so I probably won't have to say it. I might reiterate a tiny bit, but I bet it's going to be very annoying to watch. there. But you know, it's 11 o'clock. My God, that's the way the music is. I'm struggling with my lyrics. I'm struggling to get myself to go and get people involved. I'm struggling to get the actual sounds, the instruments. I'm struggling a lot with this. And then there's the fact that I don't have the money to go see people to make it any better, or to buy anything to help make it better. I have no money, and I don't have as much time as I would like to have. And when I do have the time, there's usually something preventing it. You know, I'd love to record today, and I have the time to, but everyone's home. You know, so not only do I not have the ability at all to do that while they're home, to make myself record while my whole family's here, but they make sound, the dogs fucking bark, and oh, the dogs barking. I hate those dogs that we have. So I'm gonna go to bed fairly stressed thinking about all this. But I mean, a lot of it is stuff I can overcome. You know, for example, the lyrics. I just gotta keep working on it. You know, as far as the recording, man up and start doing it, or do it in a car, which I can do sometimes, depending on how much into it I need to be. The instruments, I just need to fucking practice. Which again, drums. Anyone's home, I can't do it. You know, because I get irritated. I'm finally gonna be alone at home to practice tomorrow. You know, just for the kicks of it, maybe I'll record a little bit of it. Maybe I'll put a song on my headphones and jam out with that, you know. And then I'll edit in, you know, the music or something. I don't know. This isn't for your sake. I'm gonna label some differently. Some will just be journal entries, and some will be labeled whatever they're labeled. You know, rant about Kool-Aid or something. Today will just be like first journal entry. P.S. It's long, something like that. Something stupid. No one's ever gonna see it. I once searched journal or my journal and things like that on YouTube, and there's hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands of them on there. No one will ever come across this, and if they do, they won't have watched to this length. And if they do see what I'm saying right now, it's because they clicked forward, and that's where they landed. Unless you're my family, and I tell you about this later, and you decide to sit there and watch this, because maybe I'm dead, and this is a way for you to see as much of me as you possibly could. I'm hoping it's not under those negative circumstances. And if it is, I hope it's 70 years down the line, or at least 60. I'd love to see 83. I could live with dying at 83. But yeah, I mean, if I'm 83 and I die, it's not as old as I'd like to get, but yeah, it's enough to say, like, hey, you definitely live full. I'd like maybe like 87. Maybe 90. I don't know. Depends on how long my wife lives. Yeah, because if my wife passes away when I'm 80, 83 will be fine. Well, yeah. No. Well, I don't know. It depends on if I'm able to get over it. 83 will be... If I'm not over it by the time I'm 83, let me die. If I'm over it by the time I'm 80, if I'm able to get through life like my grandfather, took about 2 or 3 years. If I'm able to start getting through life by the time I'm 83 and my wife dies when I'm 80, let me live to see 87 or 90. You know, let me live to be all right being a widower. I prefer to die together, honestly. I prefer to die in a car crash or an explosion or God knows what. I wouldn't want to watch her die. I'd like to die like a car crash, you know, just like, and we both died. Or an explosion, we both died. I wouldn't want to die in like a robbery where I see her get shot and I get shot and then I get to see there in fear and horror and anguish as she dies while I'm dying. I don't want that. No. Yeah, I don't want to see her die. Even if it's not Jess. Right now I'm picturing Jess, but even if that's not who it is that I marry, I don't want to live to see my wife die. It's a scary thought because there's a 50-50 chance that will happen. There is. I mean, I'm not all that healthy, but I'm working on that. The odds of me dying at 45 are not all that good. But like Jess, a lot of her family has died young. You know, it's just how it is. She's a lot healthier than some of them, but she's very overweight. Well, fairly overweight. That's not fair to say. She's not very overweight, but she is overweight. And overweight is bad. I'm overweight too, so I guess that makes us even. But God, I hope she doesn't watch this now and hear me say she's very overweight. Jess, if you're watching this, you are not very overweight. You're slightly overweight. You tell me that all the time, and I agree with you most of the time, unless I'm trying to make you feel better. Yes, you're overweight, and yes, it kind of scares me. I wish that you were the healthiest weight you could possibly be, because that would mean you'd live longer. It's total bullshit about the amount of pounds you put on takes off of your overall life, because what if you're heavier and then you lose weight? That's stupid. Wow, way to diverge. But yeah, I want her to live as long as possible, because I'm going to try to live myself as long as possible, and I don't want her to die long before me. Because if she dies 20 years before I do, I don't want to have the temptation of I've become really lonely, maybe I want to find someone else. I don't want to ever get married and then find someone else, even if she dies. I mean, companionship is one thing. You're going to find friends, be them male or female. You're going to look for friends. But, I don't know, because I'm gonna see her again in heaven. Can you imagine how much that would suck, looking down from heaven and seeing the person you love, who you no longer with, being with someone else, and wondering when he comes back who he'd rather be with? It's a weird thing to think about. I keep forgetting you can't see what I'm doing on the table. Like when I'm sitting here just juggling them back and forth, not juggling, but just messing with them back and forth. You can't see that, so it looks like I'm just sitting here staring at the table and moving my hands around. Which basically I am, because I'm not doing anything that requires any kind of skill. But I suck at these, don't I? Oh yeah, I suck. Great. Now I'm gonna go to bed. Now I'm gonna go to bed thinking about how the music thing is hopeless, and I'm gonna have to watch my wife die at 56 while she's lit on fire, and then I'm gonna be tortured for the rest of my life until I turn 81 and then die. That's what I'm gonna think about before I go to bed. And you wonder why I'm depressed. Oh, shit. So, time to end. Time to go to bed. I'm in a talking mood. Yeah, I'm in a talking mood. Maybe I'll just shut this off, stop this one video, and then start it up again and say hi, it's July 3rd now, and I'm making this totally new video the next day, and it's still tonight, and I'm still talking to myself, and people notice because you can see out the window when it's dark, but maybe it's nighttime. That's it. It's tomorrow night, and I'm wearing the same clothes and sitting in the exact same position. Or not. So, I am absolutely certain that if you're still watching it at this point, unless you just clicked ahead and accidentally landed here, that you are not some random YouTuber. And if you are, well, thank you. I don't know if you're just here because you're bored or if you're here because you found me interesting. Somehow talking about myself is interesting. Probably not. Probably not that. Um, or if you just like fell asleep with the computer on. So you're probably not a random YouTuber though. If you're still watching and you've watched this entire thing, you're either someone who really cares about me, or you're someone who somewhat cares about me, and I'm dead. So if I'm dead, this is really weird to think about because it's fairly possible that when I die, these will be looked at. If I'm dead, and you're watching this, know that probably I really loved you and cared about you. I trusted you to have given you this web address. And that I'm up in heaven. And I'm looking down on you and saying, dude, someone watched those videos. Yay. But I'm probably not dead. I'm probably going to show this to someone in like 4 days and say, hey, man, look at what I did. I'll probably say that to Jess. Like, hey, look what I'm doing. Cool. I'm making videos. Want to watch? Want to sit here for an hour and 8 minutes and watch this stupid-ass thing of me talking to myself? And actually, she might. Where right now she's living with a family from church, and they're basically never there. And earlier tonight, she was on the phone with me about how she's freaked out and she wishes I could be there with her. So maybe this would actually be helpful for her. Until the part where I accidentally said untruthfully that she's really overweight. But she's not. She's slightly overweight. But I wish, and only for this reason, wish that she was thinner because I want her to be as healthy as possible. Not because of, like, you know, that whole mannish thing of, like, she's gotta be really skinny. You know, for folk fat bitches, man. And she'll be mad at me for swearing. You know, I'm not like that. Especially if you look at past girls I've dated. Clearly, I'm into girls with more meat. I think you're quite attractive if you're watching this, Jess. Oh, and if it's not you that I married down the line and they watch this, then that's going to come off. Well, you know, I'm really freaking stupid. I'm 23, and how I am right now is how I am right now. I gotta get over this crap. That looks weird. I don't like. Jess, if you watch this and you get annoyed about me calling you overweight, just kick me in the nuts next time you see me, okay? We'll be even and we'll be fine. Well, that is that. And, I'm tired. I am tired now. So me being a dumbass, I'm going to go upstairs and watch some YouTube. And then eventually go to bed. I might quickly look online for sources of eggshell foam. And I'll talk about a different subject next time. I'll talk about if I find the eggshell foam, I'll say something. If I find out something to change about the band, I'll mention it because I promised myself, hey, we'll make this CBL sort of focused for the simple sake of therapy for myself. And then everything else, you know, is also because I kind of want to have a journal. And in my church, even we say, well, you should keep some kind of journal records of yourself. You know, just because it's good for you. Yeah, it is. It's a cool thing. So, I'll post this at some time tomorrow, the 3rd. And, or maybe tonight. Although I have to make the profile first. Well, at least make the profile tonight. Hopefully I'll be able to call it CVL Journals, and if that's taken, who the hell are you and why did you call yourself CVL Journals? That's really fucking stupid. Ooh, more swearing. Ooh. It's really, really stupid to have CVL Journals. What does it mean? Because I haven't heard CVL apply to much of anything. searched it once, and apparently there's a light bulb called the CBL such and touch and touch. But that's about it. I mean, I guess it also stood at one point for conservative vice lords, a type of legitimate gang, and blah blah blah. Anyway, CBL Journals is mine. Don't take it. Right. So that's that. And I will leave you with an image of a giant 3. Think of me when you think of 3. Not really. 3.